Hey, my super beautiful, lovely, gorgeous souls. Welcome to my haunted edition. Today I'm bringing you guys a ghost story with a mini reading at the end. So stay tuned if you want to hear the mini reading at the end. This story is going to be about a time I visited a very haunted cemetery that is very famous in Connecticut, in Easton. It's called the White Lady Cemetery or Union Cemetery. So, living in Connecticut, we have a lot of haunted places and a lot of haunted cemeteries and abandoned buildings and different places. We have asylums. That's another story. So, there's this place that the Warrens, who lived in Monroe and were ghost hunters, and they were, Ed Warren was a demonologist, did some extensive research on the White Lady and the cemetery, and they actually have the only true known footage of her manifestation. Excuse me. So it always intrigued me, the story. It always intrigued me. So there's a road called Sport Hill Road, and there's been some stories that the White Lady has manifested on the road walking. And there was a story about a policeman that, saw her, and there was a story about a car that had hit her, and that the person who was driving the car thought they really had hit her. When they got out to check, she was gone. So no one really knows her origin. They're not sure if she's someone that was murdered or killed. There's also another ghost in the cemetery that is called Red Eyes, that has manifested to people with glowing red eyes and sort of a growling, snarling energy. So the White Lady sort of walks through this cemetery, sort of wandering, looking for, some believe, her lost child. Some believe her husband killed her and she's looking for her husband, revenge, or her way home. There's a lot of different theories. And the ghost of Red Eyes, some believe it to be a man that was burned alive, possibly on the land before the White Lady and the legend even happened. So I was I don't know, I want to say about 22 years old, and I was casually dating somebody, more friends than anything. And we were hanging out one night, and he wanted to go and bring a video camera and go. Now, this is like the year 2002, and there was very strict policies about going into the cemetery at night, and there had been so many vandalisms through the years that, anybody caught there is pretty much getting a big fine and possibly even a trespassing arrest. So I'm pretty sure that that's even more so probably established and enforced now than it was back then. So I wouldn't go. But anyway, we decided to go, and I was the passenger, so I was going to film, and we were just going to drive by a couple of times. And it's a very creepy area. There's something very old and sleepy town and very spooky about it. It's very almost like gray feeling. Almost like sad. You can feel the sadness. And we came around the bend, and we, the lights of the our car were sort of hitting the gravestones, and you see that first, and it's kind of like, wow, it's real, and it's old, and it's very gothic. And there's like this wrought iron spiky kind of fence that goes all around it. And so I'm doing the video camera as we're going by, mind you, fully charged video camera, and I'm sort of trying to see whatever I can catch. And we turned around, we pulled into the little parking area, like in front. There's like a little bit of a dirt thing that you can kind of park if you're going in there during the day to visit, anyone, ancestors. The dates in the cemetery go back to like the 1600s. It's one of the oldest in the country. And as we're pulling around, we stop the car, and we're sort of like, trying to get anything we can. We're so afraid the cops are going to come and like blow our whole thing. And we're just trying to see, can we get anything? Is there anything here? And I'm casually like going back and forth with the camera. And all of a sudden the camera kind of goes like that, and done, gone, battery's gone, done. And I'm like, come on. And I've got the window down, and it's cold. It was like, I think sometime it was like in January, I want to say. And I'm trying to roll the window up, and then, he's playing around with the camera, and he gets it to turn on and work, and he's now filming and trying to get a little bit of whatever he can. And all of a sudden we see a cop car. So we're sitting on the side. Now we're like trying to hurry to put the camera away. The cop kind of pulls up. What are you doing? Shines the light right in the car. And we're like, we got lost. You know, we're giving him a typical line of bullshit that he's heard probably by hundreds of freaking people, trying to capture something on film from the white lady. And, you know, we're like, you know, we're sorry. Like, you know, cut us some slack. He's like, yeah, all right, get out of here. Like, you know, basically, I don't want to see you. I'm giving you like 30 seconds. Pack it up, get out, don't come back. You come back, you're getting a $500 fine, each of you. We're like, oh shit. So, you know, we're trying to get the camera, and, you know, the person I'm with just did not want to get up, and he turns it on again and he hands it to me and he's like, just point it up and see if you can get anything. And I'm like, okay. And, you know, we're turning around at this point, and I'm trying to be very casual about it. And I'm scanning the whole cemetery as we're driving by to go and leave now. And I want to say I saw some very shadowy, like, forms, kind of like going like this up and down over the graves, but I wasn't sure what I saw. Of course, I'm thinking about the cops, and we just got stopped, and boom, camera goes dead again. So now we're like, okay, let's leave. Let's just put everything away. We're out of here. We got to go. Cops are going to come back. We're going to be busted for sure. So we leave. When we get back to his house, you know, we're anxious to charge the camera and get the footage, whatever we got, and we're hooking it up to the TV and messing around with all these cables and wires, trying to figure out how can we get this to, you know, play for us. So we start looking at some of the footage, and we can hear ourselves, and the whole thing with the cop happens. And it's interesting because as I was scanning, as we were going out of the cemetery, you could see a giant orb. I mean, and we're in the car. Just like this big blob of white is going like right in front of the graves as I'm going sweeping with the camera. Does that make sense? Like I'm sweeping over the graves, and there's this big giant white orb that goes poof and just disappears. And we're like, what in the hell was that? And we rewind it, and we're looking at it closely, and it's almost like you could see something within it. So it's not a bug. It's not moisture. It's not any of those things. We really did try to debunk the best we could. So we're sitting there on his bed. We're watching this. And all of a sudden, the light in his room starts flickering on and off. And I'm like, oh my God, what is that? Like, what's happening? Now, I knew nothing about spirituality. I thought I did. You know, I thought like, you know, I knew I was clairvoyant. I knew I was a medium. I knew I had these gifts, but I didn't understand them, and they certainly weren't controlled, and I was not in my power at all. And I knew what it was, and I'm like, fuck, we brought something back with us. And I'm like, this is not good. And I mean, when you bring something back with you from these places, this is why it's so important to protect yourself if you are going, and be respectful of the spirits and, you know, the dead that are at rest where they're at rest. And there has been so many vandalisms in this cemetery. I'm thinking these spirits are probably angry. Some of them are not crossed over. There's definitely spirits there that are not. And there's definitely dark spirits there. So I'm like, oh my God, I'm freaking out. I'm trying to go back to my Catholicism, and I'm saying prayers, and I'm crossing myself, and it gets very cold in his room, and we're trying to fiddle with this camera still. We're trying to fix the light. I mean, everything was going bonkers in his room. It was really weird and really creepy. And I'm like, I gotta leave. I was like, I'm just so freaked out. And he's like, why? Like, and he's freaked out. And we're just like so bothered by everything that we decide we're not even gonna watch anymore, because we're convinced what we saw was something, and we're convinced that I just wanted to go home at that point. I was too scared, too freaked out. I said my prayers, and I said my goodbyes, and I never went back to that place again. I can tell you I did feel very strange there. There's definitely something there. I don't know if we saw the white lady that night, but I know we saw something, and something definitely followed us home. Hope you enjoyed my story, guys, and let's do a little quick one card for the energy of October going into November, something that we need to know. You are not meant to know the answer right now. Ha ha ha. Interesting, right? Something that you might be struggling with. You might want to know so badly that Spirit is keeping it from you. You might be revealing it, or it might be being revealed to you at a later time. Clear away any old energy and stagnation at this time. Yeah, so definitely letting go of bad cycles, bad people, past pain, sort of clearing the slate, cleaning the slate going into the month of November from October. Pay attention to messages and signs. Yeah, anything from spirit. It could be a song. It could be something you keep seeing, like in your news feed on social media. It could be something that keeps popping in your head. It could be an animal you keep seeing. Pay attention to what signs around you. And we're getting meditate more. So learning meditation is really important if you have not done that. And definitely connecting with your higher self and spirit, I feel like will bring you a lot more happiness and a lot more awareness. I hope you enjoyed this little haunted series I'm doing here. Don't forget to like and subscribe, guys. Thanks so much for checking out my channel and joining me. Hope you liked my ghost story. Smash that like button if you did. Let me hear some of your paranormal experiences. Love and light.